Yeah. So as I was saying, if we maybe if I look for that data set, actually I've already done it. So if I open my chart and then I share. So I hope this encourages more people. Mr. Francis has done his as well. So I'm really proud, that we are doing the work. If we haven't tried yet to get it done, let's look for time and do it as well. That, like I said, that time is never there. We just have to force the time, to be there. I understand that we have to work, we have to, do so many other things. But giving it that 1-2 hours in a day or even in a week, it does makes a whole difference, So let me show you how we can get charts to generate more.
Okay, can I start sharing?
You can, sir. You
Okay,
can. Thank you.
thank you. Okay.
Yes. I'm going to share in a minute. I'm just looking for the right chart to. I've got quite a lot of. So I come on to ChatGPT a lot. I research a lot on it, and most of the time it delivers. So most of the time it delivers. Let me show you what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna hide this. Let's see, is this the one? So what I was saying before was that we can, we can copy and paste maybe the first 10 rows, if you like, of that data set, copy it with the header. I'm looking for the one I copied, where I got the business requirement we are currently using from. That's what I'm looking for. If I don't find it very easily, so much has gone on with it. Okay. Environmental. Sometimes I just come on to ask it, about maybe, yeah. So I shouldn't be recording this bit, but yeah, sometimes I'm starting a new role and I really want to really understand what I'm doing in that role. I'll put the name of the industry or the company rather, tell it exactly, like just give it the right context, to this is what I'm doing there. This is what they've told me. This is the job requirement, the person description. This is what I have already. How do I measure up, and it would go on to really, point you in the right direction of more information. So I can't find the one I did. But what I did was, if I stop sharing and, just do it again so that we can, do it together. I'm looking for my sales data. If you can, open ChatGPT for yourself as well. Why not? Let's open Chat if you've got it. And let's do this together. Sales 27. Okay. I've got it, so I can share again now. Okay. Right. So I'm going to go into the data itself. I'm just going to copy just the first 10. I'm just choosing 10 randomly. It can be whatever number you want, and I'll go into chart and create a new one and paste that there and give it a few contexts, like let's generate some business requirements for the data set above. Okay. So this may even be different from what it's generated before. And I'm sure I'm going to find those ones, And if any of the requirements is not very clear to you, you can always break each one down, like how do you mean? Order processing time analysis, and it's telling us based on the provided data set, we can derive several business requirements that may be relevant to the company's operations. These requirements can help guide the development of systems, processes, or analytic tools. Here are some potential business requirements, okay? So the system should be able to calculate and analyze the average order processing time. This one of the ones it gave us before, and we've done that, allowing for performance evaluation and process optimization, okay? And we could see from the dashboard we built, so yeah, we can see from the average processing time that delivery Express Air actually seems to be the one below the average processing time, for that company, So, but when we went further to Pro, I believe we did a few more works on this. Yes, it was still Express Air, and we got it down to shipping amount, and we further discovered that actually it was regular air that was the cheapest for us to use. So these two were really cheap, and delivery truck really high up there. Having said that, it's good to understand what the business context is around this, because we are looking at figures and, text, but there could be more meanings to this within the business itself that is good to go back and understand, okay? So let's look at more business requirements.
Quick one before you move.
Yes.
Can you go back to the first one?
Yeah, the spreadsheet?
No, the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this one.
I think it's asking for saying the system should be able to calculate and analyze the average order processing time for each salesperson.
Right. This is different from what we did before.
It's different.
Yes. It is.
How
I
does
didn't
the
even read that properly.
processing time influence what each salesperson is selling? Does it have an impact? Is that the reason why salesperson A is selling more than salesperson B? Because salesperson A order get more processed faster or fastest than the other two folks.
Okay. So how do we propose to try and tackle that question? Average processing time for each salesperson. What did we do before? We just did the average processing time for the business in general, was what we did before, We did not look at things from the salesperson perspective at all before. We've got a salesperson table here, okay, which we can actually copy you know, and manipulate down here. So if we bring that down here, Control V, you know, and if I right click and show the fields list, you know, so we don't need the total sales because the requirement is asking for the average order processing time for each salesperson. Okay, so what we need to bring in, so we'll remove the sales. I'm just going to drag out the sales, and we do have a field for the order processing time that we calculated. So if I click on that, and it's asked for the average, not the sum. At the moment, we've got the sum, okay? So if we go into our value field setting and average that, okay? And here we go. So the average processing time for Miss Rosiana is 1.94. For Mr. Robert is 1.92. And for Mrs. Gale is 1.91. Okay, so we've seen the average processing time. Let's further, I mean, I always need to go back and reread, you know, that business requirement to be sure that I'm actually on the right track. So the system should be able to calculate and analyze the average order processing time for each salesperson, allowing for performance evaluation and process optimization. Okay, so we've gotten that this is the first part of the requirement. We need to find the average for each one of these persons. Here it is. But it's saying that it should allow for performance evaluation. How do we evaluate this performance now? Okay, so I would say Mrs. Gill has got the lowest, so has done best in terms of average order processing time. Okay, but there's more that will go into systems of optimization. If we look at, maybe we want to look at the total number of orders that were actually done by each person as well. So if I bring in the order ID, you know, and we don't need the sum, we need to count it. We just want how many orders were done by each person. So I'm going to count that. Okay, so we can see that Miss Rosiana had 694 orders, and this was the average, you know, of those orders. Robert, 730, this was the order processing time. Mrs. Gale actually had 729. Okay, so Mrs. Gale had not the smallest, because we are drilling down to see why did this person have the smallest average processing time. And ordinarily, one would have said maybe they didn't do too much orders, okay? But we can see that they did even more order than the person who's got the highest average processing time. So then this is where we need more information to look at what Mrs. Gill is actually doing right, okay? That might not be captured by this data set at the moment, but it would be nice to see Mrs. Gill's, the way they work, you know, how are they doing it, you know, and that system optimization would come from, maybe we need to, you know, tell Mrs. Gill or encourage Mrs. Gill to sort of put some training in place to train other staff members so that we can use her benchmark as, you know, something that we want for the business going forward. I hope that makes sense. What is Mrs. Gill doing right? How is she able to, you know, process this much order? You know, she is in the second position. just one more, or even Mr. Robert with 1.92 is just one more other, away as well. So Mr. Robert is not doing too badly. Miss Rosianna has got 694, way lower than them. And her processing, average processing other time is way above those two people. So what are these two doing right that this person is not doing right? So there will be need for more information to drill down and see, is it to do with attitude, to work or something? So if we can get to the bottom of that, we can then put a system in place to train our staff members to use this as whatever they are doing as benchmark, so that we can achieve the kind of average processing time that they have achieved. Does that make sense to anyone? Or do we have further contribution or something different?
It does.
Thank you, sir.
It does sense of the optimization. So, but quick one. How do we not display this in any of the, whether the Basha, whatever?
Yes. So if I hide this so that it's not disturbing us. So I'm just going to click anywhere within that same pivot table and insert, and we can choose which best shows, which best shows. And because we are comparing, this column chart is always good for comparing, because you can easily see which is longer than the other, which of the bars is longer than the other. And this one is also a good one. They are not too different. It's just one is horizontal and the other is vertical. Okay, so we can use that. I would have said pie chart, but this doesn't necessarily capture much because they are not too different in terms of the number. So you can't easily see which is bigger than which. They are almost the same size in terms of the segments, So I'll go with that. Not line, no. I'll go with the column chart. And then you can choose, whichever way you want it to, whatever you want it to look like. 100% stacked, no. I want it to actually show the difference. This one. Okay. And we can, format this. We can change so I just clicked on one of the bars and all of them are highlighted. And under format here, what have I done? Under format here, we can design. You can change that shape fill if you don't want that color. You can change it to something else, green if you like, If you don't want these lines, these grid lines, here is somewhere where you can play around with it more. I just normally click it off because I don't like seeing it anyway. And because, having this by the side here does not really tell me which is which. I can't really read. Miss Rosianna is 694. It's almost like it's already on 700. So that's not really giving me exactly what each bar's value is. So because of that, I always come to the axis, no, to the data label. We call it data label. I'll click on the data label so that each of the value is displayed on each bar. And because that has happened, I don't need this anymore. Okay, so I'm just gonna unclick the primary, no, the other one. So I'll unclick that. I still need their names here to know which is which. And if these fields, these buttons here are not adding much value and they are not for me, I'm just going to right click and tell you to hide all field buttons. So I'm going to hide all of those, average order processing time and count of ID. Okay, I see why we've got blue and red. Okay, I'll leave that as it may. And for title, I can always come back here and, give it a chart title, and you can decide to place it where you want to place it. Is it above? Is it centered? Is it more option? And then the more, I think we'll have a session where we do the more option. and we actually look at how to really format and get a very beautiful chart, you know, from my Excel charts. I don't know why that's happening, but yeah, it's happening. Yes. So if we can, you know, work on more of, you know, ask chat to give us more and work on that, that would be really great. I like what we've done today. I must have clicked something that's highlighting my work. But yes, I like the fact that chat even gave us a new perspective to average processing time, because this was not what it gave the last time. So at different points, it will always give different things. And there's more, there's quite a lot. Just for that's one small data set. There's quite a lot that we can do with it. So do we have questions?